Hey guys, tonight we begin with something a little darker. A lonely shift, a flickering light, and the sound of machines that never sleep. We're diving into the cold, oil-slicked belly of the modern factory. Forget robots and smart tech. They never tell you what happens when one of these machines decides it doesn't want to follow orders anymore, especially not at 3 a.m. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. It's always fascinating to see who's joining us from around the world. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. Congratulations, you've just clocked in for your third shift maintenance job. The good news? The building's quiet. The bad news? You're the only one here. And the oldest machine on the floor just powered on by itself. Its panel is glowing red, even though no one's touched it in years. You glance at your checklist, but machine 9 isn't even on it. Strange. Then you hear it. A soft hiss. A slow hum. And a voice you swear is whispering your name from inside the steel. Third shift wasn't for everyone. The hours bled into your brain. Time lost all shape. Your body screamed for sleep, but the machine screamed louder. I started 6 months ago, mostly refilling oil, checking coolant systems, tightening bolts. Nothing glamorous, just routine. But from day one, machine 9 was different. Nobody assigned it. Nobody serviced it. The lead supervisor just muttered, "Leave that one alone." So we did, except I couldn't stop watching it. It knew things. I swear the first time I walked past it, the temperature dropped 10 degrees. And it clicked like a heartbeat. Machines don't breathe. But that one did. One night during my break, I wandered into the control office. Empty as usual, just humming screens and coffee-stained clipboards. But tucked under the edge of a filing cabinet was a thick red folder. Warped from water damage, no label. Just M9 scratched into the corner. Inside were photos. Grainy black and white stills like they were taken on surveillance film. All of machine 9, except it looked different in every image. In one it had 4 arms. In another it was melted, hunched, like it was bowing. One photo had what looked like a face imprint pressing from inside the metal. You don't photograph machines like that unless you're scared. There used to be a guy named Clemens on my shift. Quiet dude. Smoked hand-rolled cigarettes and always carried a pocket Bible. 2 weeks before I found the red folder, he clocked in, but never clocked out. Management said he walked off. That didn't add up. He left his car, his phone, even his thermos, still half full. Someone said they saw him last near Bay 6, the bay next to Machine 9. A week later, I passed his locker. It was still sealed shut with a padlock, but someone had scrawled something across it in black grease. It sees. I stopped sleeping well. Every night I'd have the same dream. I was trapped in a long metal corridor, the walls breathing in and out like lungs. A rhythmic pounding echoed in the distance. Slow, mechanical, endless. I would turn a corner and find myself face to face with something. A human-sized machine with spinning eyes and hands made of iron wires. And it would whisper. Not words I could understand, but tones, frequencies, ones that made my teeth ache. I wake up bleeding from my nose. Once I woke up with oil on my pillow. That wasn't a dream. That was a warning. The next night, I showed up early. Something in me needed answers. I skipped the locker room and went straight to Bay 9. The factory was still and dark, except for a low red glow from Machine 9's panel. It wasn't humming. It was breathing, I swear. I could feel the air shifting in and out, like lungs expanding behind its steel ribs. I stepped closer and reached out to touch it. The moment my fingers grazed the cold metal, I heard a sound clear, sharp, and impossible. My name, whispered in my own voice, played back through the machine's vent, like it had recorded me, like it was playing it back. From the inside, machines don't mimic, they operate, they follow. This one remembered. I pulled back fast, but the lights flickered. For 1 second, I swear, every machine on the floor turned its head toward me. But machines don't have heads, right? That same night, I checked the security footage from the control room. No one was watching. So I scrolled back to last week. The night Clemens vanished. At 2:41 a.m. the footage stuttered, static. Then a single frame, just one. It showed Clemens standing in front of Machine 9, hands on the panel, eyes wide, mouth open. Then nothing. The next second he was gone. The tape continued like normal, as if he never existed. I froze the frame and zoomed in. The machine's side panel was open. Inside, something glowed blue, like an eye. You ever see something so wrong your body just rejects it? That was me. My hand started shaking. My stomach turned. I ran outside and threw up behind the generator room. That image wouldn't leave me. Something was inside Machine 9, watching, listening, waiting. The following shift, they assigned me a new partner, Clara. She said she transferred from another branch. Sharp, calm, never asked too many questions. But she had this way of looking at things like she'd already seen the ending. She noticed right away I was spooked. When I told her about Machine 9, she didn't laugh. She didn't doubt me. She just asked, "Did it talk to you yet?" I stared at her. "You've seen this before?" She nodded. "Not this one. But machines like it. They show up sometimes. Old ones. No manufacturer. No serial. Just here. And when they do, people disappear. Machines don't migrate. They don't reproduce. But this one wasn't built. It arrived. Clara told me to keep my distance. Don't touch it again. Don't let it know I'm afraid." But that night, when we walked past Bay 9, the lights dimmed again, and the same whisper came through the air vent. This time, it didn't say my name. Clara froze. Hers. Her eyes went wide for a second, but she didn't speak. She just grabbed my arm and pulled me toward the stairwell that led to the rooftop access. We didn't stop until we were outside, under the stars, the wind cutting sharp through our uniforms. "He's getting faster," she said, breathing hard. "It shouldn't be learning names yet. That takes longer." "What the hell is it?" I asked, still hearing the whisper echoing in my skull. She looked at me like someone who'd carried a secret too long. "We think it's not a machine at all. Not in the way we understand them. More like a parasite. A presence. It uses machinery as a shell. A body, but the core, it's something else. Something old." I wanted to laugh. I wanted to call her crazy. But my skin was still crawling. And deep in the factory I could still feel the hum, like it was following us. The next day, Clara didn't show up. Her name was wiped from the schedule. Her locker was empty. No one remembered hiring her. No one remembered seeing her. It was like she never existed, except me. I went back to the red folder, flipped through every page, looking for something I missed. At the back was a torn document, half burned. It had a government seal, black ink smudged, but I could make out a title. Project Mimic, Unit 9, Active Surveillance Test, discontinued. The rest was unreadable. But there was a line under it that made my chest tighten. Unit failed to follow control protocol. Containment recommended. Containment. But this wasn't a lab. This was a factory. We weren't scientists. We were bait. The next 3 shifts were quiet. Too quiet. Machine 9 sat dormant, like a predator digesting something it had already eaten. But on the 4th night, something changed. I was doing rounds when I noticed a strange rhythm coming from the electrical panel. By Bay 9, not just humming, but tapping, repeating a pattern. Morse code. I pulled out my phone and started decoding it. One word: help. I didn't sleep that day. I kept playing the Morse code over and over again, as if maybe I misunderstood. But no, the message was clear. Help. And it kept repeating every hour, exactly at the 43rd minute. Like a beacon. On my next shift, I brought a small handheld transmitter, old model analog band, something I picked up at a garage sale years ago. I tuned it to the electrical frequencies the machines ran on and waited. At 2:43 a.m. it screamed. Not noise, not static, but a voice. Dozens of voices, screaming all at once through layers of metallic distortion. Some cried, some begged, some just repeated numbers. One voice sounded like Clemens. Another sounded like Clara, but one was louder than the rest. Cold, flat, and impossible to mistake. It was me. A perfect recording of my voice saying words I never said. I belong to Machine 9 now. That broke me. I threw the transmitter against the wall and watched it spark and die. I sat there in the corner of the loading bay, trying not to hyperventilate.
Trying to make sense of it.
Then I noticed the air. It was moving, not like a draft.
Not like ventilation.
The air was shifting rhythmically.
Expanding and contracting, as if the entire room was breathing with me.
Or through me.
I ran for the exit.
But the main floor had changed. The layout was wrong. Bays were in the wrong places. Machines were flipped. And in the center, where machine 9 had stood, there was now something taller. Thinner, pulsing with red veins of light across its surface. And the panel was wide open. Something stepped out.
It had no face.
Just a smooth black surface where one should be. Its arms were too long. Its legs moved without joints. But worst of all, its chest opened like a blooming flower. And inside,
I saw wires tangled around bones.
Human bones.
It didn't chase me.
It just watched. I backed away slowly until the lights flickered again. When they came back on, the machine was gone. Everything was back to normal.
Layout restored.
Panels quiet. The humming silenced. Machines don't hallucinate, but apparently people do.
That's when I heard footsteps behind me.
And Clara's voice whispered, "Don't turn around." Clara's voice was soft but firm. "Don't turn around. Just listen."
I stood frozen, heart pounding in my ears.
My mouth was dry and I was barely breathing. "You saw it," she said. "That means it saw you too. You're marked now."
Like I was.
I whispered, "I thought you were gone."
I was, she said. In a way.
But listen carefully. It doesn't just feed on presence, it feeds on attention. Curiosity is like a doorway. Every time you look, every time you think about it, you open that door a little more.
Until one day, you're inside.
Then I heard her footsteps fading, as if she was walking away into smoke.
I turned.
There was no one there. The air smelled like burnt plastic and something else, like oil and rot. I stumbled back toward the control room, breathing hard, and locked the door behind me. Monitors flickered. One of the screens showed live feed from Bay 9. Static burst across it. Then a shadow, moving slowly past the frame.
It stopped.
Then turned, as if looking directly into the camera.
I slammed the power off.
You've made it halfway through this descent, and if you're still with me, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what time it is where you are, and if you've ever worked the graveyard shift.
It's strange what the night brings out, isn't it?
Let's keep going.
I didn't show up for the next shift.
But the factory sent people to my house, not the police.
Not my supervisor.
Just two men in suits with no names, no badges. They asked me if I had interfered with any restricted equipment.
I played dumb.
They handed me a white envelope. Inside was a severance letter and a non-disclosure agreement.
No reason listed.
Just the words "effective immediately."
I signed it.
That night, my house lost power at exactly 2:43 a.m. My phone glitched. My lights buzzed. And deep inside the dark, I could hear it again. The whisper. Closer now. I moved out the next day. Didn't pack much. Just a bag, my wallet, and whatever I could grab in 5 minutes.
I didn't even lock the door behind me. I knew it wouldn't matter.
I drove 6 hours to another city and crashed on a friend's couch. New place, new job.
No machines. No third shift.
I tried to forget. For a while it almost worked, until I noticed the humming.
It started faint, like a low vibration under the floor.
Then came the static in my calls. My TV would flicker at 2:43 a.m. My microwave clock reset every night, always to 9 exactly.
I took it apart, found something taped behind the circuit board. A strip of magnetic tape. Old? Faded.
Labeled M9 entry sequence.
I threw it in the trash and didn't sleep that night.
A few days later, I went to the laundromat, sat down on the cold metal bench while my clothes spun. When I looked up, the machine across from me had stopped. Its glass door reflected the room, but something was wrong.
In the reflection, I wasn't alone. A shape stood behind me.
Not a person.
Not fully. I turned around fast, but nothing was there.
Just the hum of dryers and a buzzing soda machine. I turned back to the reflection. The shape was still there, closer.
I left my laundry and never went back. I kept moving.
Motel to motel.
Always paying cash.
Always staying off the grid. but every place had machines.
Vending, washers, streetlights.
And every night at 2:43 a.m. something would flicker. Something would watch. I started noticing symbols, drawn in dust, carved into benches.
Scratched on bus stop glass.
Always the same, M9. It was following me.
But not physically.
It had embedded itself, not in a chip, not in code, but in memory. Once you know it exists, you can't forget it.
And once you can't forget, it feeds.
I tried reaching out to others.
Forums, underground message boards.
Threads about haunted tech, cursed frequencies, machines that shouldn't exist. Most were nonsense. But one reply stood out. Unit 9 is a thought virus. It's not hardware. It's presence. It latches onto perception. The more you think about it, the deeper it nests. Forgetting is the only escape, but you've come too far. That post disappeared the next day. So did the user.
I tried everything. Isolation tanks, hypnosis, even a small experimental
Drug trial meant to induce selective memory loss. But no matter what I erased,
I remembered one thing.
Machine 9.
Its hum, its whisper, its voice using my voice.
One night I stared into a mirror and I didn't recognize myself. My eyes were dull. My skin had taken on a grey tint, like oil rubbed into every pore. And when I opened my mouth to speak, the sound that came out wasn't mine. It was clanging.
Metal on metal, sparks in a dark room.
The factory never left me.
Because I was never me again.
I've left this story here as a warning. If you're hearing this, if you've made it this far,
don't go looking for Machine 9. Don't search. Don't reread.
Don't wonder what was real and what was imagined.
Because now you've heard it too.
And it might be hearing you. Now, shut off your device.
And whatever you do,
don't look at the clock, because if it says 2:43 a.m., you're already too late. So until next time, sleep with one eye open. You've been listening to Clara After Dark.